Mother, tell your children not to walk my way. Tell your children not to hear my words, what they mean, what they say. Mother.
All right, now we're live. Hello, all. Welcome to this a kind of thrown together show, but we wanted to do a show after Dynamite so we could preview Double or Nothing, and then lots of other stuff happened. So
that's always does with wrestling.
Yeah, it's always crazy. Usually the crazy stuff happens on Friday, but not on Thursday. But anyways, where do you want to start, Brandon? You're in the chase chair.
I'm in the chase chair. What did you? I mean, just so we can get it out of the way, were there any thoughts about the most recent PLE of WWE? Backlash.
It sucked.
It was a show. Did it suck, or was it just like of the norm of what?
No, it sucked.
It sucked.
It sucked. It was bad. It was like the last. You had a good match. You had a very good to great match, depending on, I guess, what you're into with the women, and then you had a bunch of just what are we doing after that, and it was a lot of there was good performances that were hurt by bad booking, which didn't help either. So it was not
who had the good performances.
I would
Becky
say
and Lyra.
Yeah, Becky, Lyra, the
Jacob
four way. The four way was good. Just the booking was just really I guess Gunther and McAfee was okay for what it was.
It's the worst match on Cage Match.
Yeah, it was like, what are we doing? And then it's worse than Cena and Orton. That was dreadfully fucking boring. That was bad.
It was bad and 30 minutes long.
Yeah.
Like, you can't beat that both. That's just inexcusable.
Well, you can when it's Cena and Orton. You got to play the hit.
Yeah.
Give the people what they want.
Did you have any excitement over this match? Like, this is your era of like coming up, not to throw you off or anything, but this is like your era of coming up with wrestling. Like, were you into this at all? Or
hold on. My true like nostalgia era is more Paul Heyman SmackDown through like Cena and Batista becoming champions in 2005. That's
Gotcha.
Kid Big Rat nostalgia, not the stuff where I was on YouTube complaining about it with the rest of you.
Right. That's true.
2 out of the range. None at all. I was perversely curious to see if they would like go long, just because I would figure, given how Cena's Mania match didn't go over well, they would try to protect him and shorten it and make it more spot heavy, and they didn't really do that. And I really wonder what the next year is going to be like, because he's going to be champion for a while. Are we just going to do this every pay-per-view? Like, it's not going to go well for the company.
It makes me wonder if Triple H feels like this is how Hogan was booked as head of as the top heel, as the NWO Hogan, because it feels like that's what he's trying to do, but he's not getting like the point of it, that it was more than just like long, like those matches weren't long. Those Hogan matches weren't super long at the time. They got in, did their thing, got out. It was noticeable because you had those really good undercards, but it wasn't like this. Like I think he gets trapped into it's a main event. It has to be 20 minutes minimum, right? Like the Goldberg can't work a main event match because he can't go 20 minutes.
Right.
Argument that he had back in the day, or that Scott Steiner can't main event because he can't go 20 minutes, right? That sort of nonsense. Your main event doesn't have to go that long. It just has to be the main event.
No.
It has to be. Now the crowd was into it, but
I think that's more because of being in Orton's hometown.
Maybe, I don't know.
I think that played a big factor.
I'm just like, what are we?
Is Orton a draw in his hometown? It didn't seem like they drew
like,
last time they did something big in that town.
Wasn't the last thing they did was like that NXT thing?
Yeah, the NXT thing.
It's so well for NXT. It's so well for NXT. That's the thing. We're not talking about black and gold era NXT. Like, this is, mid NXT right now. So Orton's can still be a factor in there, I guess.
I think Cena deserves blame too. Like, I agree with Josh about Hunter's like involvement and how he's booking these main event matches and booking Cena as a heel generally. But I do think Cena's promos since Mania have been very underwhelming.
I agree, but I also think he hasn't been given a lot.
He hasn't.
No,
He still feels like he's reading a script.
Oh, I know.
Every time he talks. Like,
Comes up very like
He's talking
hollow, very like and not just. But it comes off very like he's not been given a lot either, and so I think I think somewhere he knows that, so he's just like, okay, let's just go through the. But
the best moment for me of this Cena heel turn so far has been the 30 seconds after the Orton match when the crowd's chanting, "Thank you, Cena." And Cena played it off very well. Like, oh, it's getting to him that like these fans still support him, even though after everything he's done. Yeah. That for me was the best part of his heel run so far.
Now you got R-Truth coming up next.
Breaking news. I didn't watch the show, but I did watch I was started to watch the John Cena Orton match. I'm like, let me give this a chance. And I didn't make it through like 5 minutes or so. But Josh, I want to give you props because something you've been preaching for a very long time. I think I'm on that same train now where this product is so popular and like these crowds are so into what's at least going on, not the matches, but the stuff around the matches. You've been talking a long time of like these events are like the new concerts. Like concert tickets are so expensive that, hey, I can go to this show and get out my, whatever, like to be able to scream at the top of my lungs or scream a song. These Orton comes out and they, for like 4 minutes they're singing his song, and I feel like you've been saying that for a very long time. And like again, watching this show, it definitely hits on like that. I feel like that's why a lot of people go on these shows because again they can't afford to go to a concert, so the next best thing is go to these WWE shows, even though they're still expensive tickets, but not as expensive as like some of those concerts you have out there.
Right.
Won't be able to afford to go to a WWE show soon.
Especially like your top tier concerts. It's not that. And the more poppy concerts, I would say, they're not priced in that range. They're still ridiculously priced. And I guess we'll get to that when we talk about Vegas, because
they can't. But I will say this: what they did for this show, I don't think you could do like. We always say like, oh, their fans don't care, their fans still go, their fans still love the show. Like a show like that in particular, where the undercard is so like flat, or like the mid undercard. Like I think if you did that for every B show, not in international markets, this show was not. I think that would even weigh on their.
I mean, their fans didn't like this show. I mean, as a whole, they were bitching about the show. So, I think you've had, we kept wondering like, how long is it going to take before they start saying, "Hey, we need better stuff than this," and they're not getting better stuff. Because everyone says, "Oh, they're not into the matches," but when you give them good matches, they're into it. Yeah. So it's like they're just not into the boring matches you keep giving them. So
what's the hottest thing right now in the company? Like, what's the thing that the fans are like the most into?
Maybe Jacob.
Maybe, yeah. But they're not.
Jacob Fatu with
Jacob Fatu. That might be
the IC title.
It's kind of like Jacob and Braun Breaker both. It's like the fans are really excited for them, but they know that they're not like the guys yet. So,
but they want them to be the guy. You can tell that they want them to be there, and they're not there yet.
I mean, you got to found it. I mean, if they're into like the foundation part of what's going to be coming up here soon, that's not horrible on there.
It's like Cena and Orton in 2003, 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's kind of what it is.
Except I think it's more like when Jeff Hardy started to get really hot, and the fans wanted him pushed. And they waited way too long, and then I feel like we're not there yet, but it feels like we're getting there because I don't think these fans are going to be really patient enough to wait that long.
I think they got to wait at least 2-3 years before you can put those guys in the main event of a card.
Well,
but in those 2-3 years, that could be the main event of Mania, and I don't think anyone would be mad at that match.
To be clear, just because they're in the. I do agree with Josh. They're in like the early stage now. That doesn't mean they will be 2005 Cena. Like that's on WWE to actually do this right. Like they could very well wait too long, and then it becomes something that's
like I said. I think they have to show at some point that we want to push. Like either put them in a B pay-per-view main event, or just, even everyone knows they're going to lose, but something like that. You can't.
I would argue that they showed that they were very interested in Braun, because like Braun got a really good spot in that Royal Rumble this year, and I think even Jacob did too. So like that for me was a clear indicator that like they see big things in these guys down the road, because they got them out of the way before the actual top talent got there. So that way they kept those matchups fresh.
You gotta act though. Like you can't do this.
I know. No, I agree. And I think them putting Braun with Heyman and Jacob with the US title, I think that's their way of like showing like, hey, we got plans for these guys. They're not just sitting in the back.
Well, because you saw the problem with Mania this year, where like Punk needs a spot, Rollins needs a spot,
Right.
Reigns needs a spot, Cody, Cena. It's like it's hard to give a spot to those guys if you're going to mandate all 5 of those guys need their spots.
Like you have to give those guys spots with those guys at some point, even if they're going to lose. Just to tip the hat of, hey, we do have plans for these guys. We just kind of be a little bit more patient. But I don't think
I think this coming Mania will be a very telling of like where they're going from there, because Braun should get a big match and Jacob should get a match. Honestly, if The Rock and Roman isn't going to happen, Jacob versus Roman Reigns at Mania would be a great match.
Wherever Mania is.
Yeah.
Wherever Mania is. Yeah.
We're gonna get to that.
Nice pitch.
I'm looking at the card to Saturday night's main event, which is this weekend. The Ron Keelings and John Cena match is non-title.
Right.
Why?
I think they did that to make people think that there's a possibility that he can win, even though there's no possibility. Yeah, I think exactly. I think they just overthought it.
Gotcha.
I think they're hoping for that one big near fall where you think Ron's going to pull off the win, and they want that big pop. They want that one big near fall.
When was the last time that he had that match? Like 10 years ago?
Ron Keelings?
Yeah.
Well, but no, I can't remember who it was. Me and him were having a whole discussion about like his best match, and I think it was like Elijah Skipper from TNA in like 2006. I want to say.
Elix Skipper. Yeah.
Elix Skipper. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that he's been a comedy goof for 20 years, but still, I mean,
I've never seen him have a bad match, but or like a really great match, but he's never been outright bad. I'll say that much.
The fact that he hasn't aged almost at all
that's incredible.
It's still amazing.
And he's still pretty athletic for a guy his age too.
This weekend is a whole bunch of shows happening in Tampa, Florida, but they did cancel NXT. Were you surprised about that? At least the TV show they canceled.
I was shocked.
Shocked?
I was shocked.
Okay. I sensed the sarcasm right there.
I mean, I was like, these shows I don't think did as well as they thought they were going to do, which I think is kind of like telling in a lot of ways. I mean, you've got this weekend, you've got All In weekend, you've got the Forbidden Door time where they're doing that tour, and I don't think any of those shows have done anything that I think anybody thought they were going to do. I know the Forbidden Door number was crazy better than I thought it was going to be because of that tour, but that tour didn't seem to make a difference at all.
One thing
they're putting that women's Who Cares pay-per-view, the same.
Is that official?
I mean, I think so.
I saw that they were doing it on Sunday, Saturday.
Yeah, they're doing. I mean, they're doing it Sunday. They're doing it Sunday, but
yeah.
And then Saturday's main event the day before, but it's not going against All In, because All In will be in the afternoon. But yeah,
correct. Mm-hmm. One thing I do wonder is like if this NXT, because like this is in Tampa, this is NXT stomping ground, like it's not too far from Orlando. Could this be like the canary in the coal mine of like, oh hey, maybe we're not as hot as we were for could it be an early warning sign?
Maybe. I mean, it's hard to tell because I get it's a different thing altogether, but the Worlds Collide tickets have done really well. So
where are they at for that show?
I think they're
in California.
I'm sorry. I'm as far as like
they're at like 8 something. they're like 8,000 something. I mean, that's.
But also that's not surprising because you got to take into account, like, number one, they're doing it in California, which huge lucha audience right there. And two, I think a lot of people are just kind of like curious, like what this is going to be. Like, no one knows what to expect right now. Like, is this going to be a AAA show, or is this going to be, just a bunch of interpromotional matches? What's going to happen with this? So I think more of a curiosity.
I mean, I would hope that it's we'll see. I think people are going to be really shocked at how not great the AAA talent is.
I can't wait. It could be like a legendarily bad show, depending on the talent they get, or it could be something start of something really, really cool. Where AAA does get some chances.
They showed Psycho Clown.
I was going to bring it up. I saw it the other day. I was like, Josh is not going to like this one.
No,
Psycho Clown on this.
No, but my thing with that is, who do you put him against? Because
Chessman.
I mean, but if you put him against an NXT talent, who are you going to put him in? Because nobody in that company can brawl like that, especially NXT. Like, what are you going to like? This is going to be a weird show. This is going to be a weird show.
Top of my head, Ethan Page would be my pick.
Maybe, but is he good? I mean, that's going to like Ethan Page can suck the air out of even like suck it out. Like, you're gonna be like, this is a Psycho Clown match, really? But those people might just be like, it's Psycho Clown and not care and be absolutely
very true. And also like
shit.
Also, are we gonna get like AAA guys on NXT TV to build this up? Like, what's gonna happen?
I assume they'll probably throw a couple on there.
Who the fuck are you gonna trust with a live microphone though? Well, it's not taped. Or it's taped, but not aired live. Never mind.
Yeah, figure it out from there. Appreciate y'all joining us for the stream, by the way, because Collision is going on right now. So we appreciate y'all for joining us here. Josh, I have a question for you. Yes. Where the hell is WrestleMania 42 going to be at?
I guess Vegas, which is amazing to me.
Is this the first time, or I think they did it like for 4 and 5, but like, is this the first time they've gone back to the same city in like how long?
I mean, since the Trump hotel.
Yeah, like was that was back to back, right? That was 4 and 5, right?
Yep. 4 and 5.
And I don't know what to make of this. Like, why are they going back to Vegas? Like, what
money. Yeah.
Because they need the money. I mean, next year is when that debt comes due.
But
even though it's not that big of a deal, but they're gonna.
How much did Vegas give them to make them like break their contract with New Orleans?
More than what New Orleans was giving them, probably.
I don't know. I
mean, they're doing that Rumble in Saudi Arabia. They just did this. I am sure we're gonna get at least another big show, like a legit big show in Saudi Arabia, probably next year.
There's a thing. So like, they're probably doing this to kind of help with this debt that they've spent. TKO, speaking of, they're literally going into debt with WrestleMania locations. Like, you're going to go back to Vegas, which means you have to make up for New Orleans because you've already told them you're going to do WrestleMania. Yeah. You already told Indianapolis, hey, you guys are going to get a WrestleMania sometime soon. And then
the UK.
Even that, but they bring that up. But even like Saudi, they're on deck for WrestleMania.
Well,
the fact that they're just stacking these up and up it's very interesting.
I legitimately think they can't do a WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. Like,
no,
that I don't know.
They're gonna do
it. If they can do a Rumble in Saudi Arabia, they'll do it.
If the Rumble goes off without a hitch, and
they can get enough people, like these, influencers can go over there like, oh man, I had the greatest time over here in Saudi.
No, I mean, influencers already go like non-wrestler influencers
fuck
go
them. That's why I don't watch
talk about how great
you
it is.
don't, but there are people,
especially
who do.
Dubai. Like usually you see that. Usually you see that in Dubai because Dubai is like
I get the Dubai thing.
The Rumble's going to happen. There's going to be even more promotion on that pay-per-view than when they normally go to Saudi. Like a ton more. They really need to sell it that people like us and other international travelers should even come in for the show too. and then it's going to go off well. They're going to have a million pictures about it, and then Mania will happen, and there will be a video during WrestleMania announcing WrestleMania next year in Saudi. Like that's on deck.
There's no fucking like they're just gonna sell it to the people that live there. There's no way that like
you're gonna have some, especially they have the.
I mean,
the,
they've got
wrestling fans are
whatever
not
that
traveling to fucking
building's
Saudi Arabia.
called.
I mean,
the
there's
Experience
international
or something like that. They're gonna get people to come over there to do that. Like, oh
I mean,
man,
they've got
a physical Hall of Fame. Like,
you
I'm gonna go over
can
there and see
be
it.
you can be outside the country and you can buy tickets for the Rumble now. They just haven't really like pushed it.
You don't you build the physical Hall of Fame there to specifically get non-Saudi Arabian people.
Fuck that, man. I ain't never going to fucking Saudi Arabia. And I'm married.
You're not, but there are gonna be people. There are gonna be people who don't.
There are
think
gonna
like you
be
who are
there
gonna
are
go
gonna
over
be
there.
and there are gonna be people who I'm gonna upset some people. There are gonna be people from around the world who are gonna be like, oh, it's Saudi, it's fine, and not realize that it's not fine.
No.
And I'm sure that they will they'll be like, okay, we're getting all these international travelers. We'll loosen stuff a little bit. Maybe they don't. And then that's a whole different issue. So
let's not get that one.
You'll have Logan Paul promoting it. You'll have Travis Scott promoting it. You'll have The Rock promoting it. Like,
right.
Those three people are very influential on their own. Like,
It's not gonna be a lot of people, but you are gonna have some people that will go over there. And that's just going to start the train of like,
right. And people say, hey,
WWE fans
it was fine. I don't know what everyone's complaining about. I don't know what everybody, it was all,
and maybe don't get people, a bunch of people from the States, but like people that are closer in Europe might be like, oh, let's just go over there. It's not a bad flight to go over there.
It's like when people go to China and then come back and go, oh, China's not so bad. Well, of course, because you were.
You're a tourist.
Well, and not just that. It's like real Cubans know that the Cuban healthcare system is awful, but a lot of Americans think it's spectacular because every time you go there, the government treats them like fucking kings. Like, very similar concept. Just have to get that in there.
It's okay. It's okay. You can go on your Cuban rant on someday.
Another time.
I'm sure.
But
you and the Picardi family waiting to go back.
It should be said before we go to the next topic that technically the Vegas thing is not confirmed. There are some people, like I think PW.
You so bad want to not to be confirmed.
Yeah,
go to Vegas for double or nothing.
Like,
just go to Vegas, bro. You ain't gotta just go to Vegas.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of stuff to do that's not wrestling. Go to Vegas.
We'll talk about it when we talk about the pay-per-view. Glendale, Arizona, like it's gonna be a fine weekend, and we have some good plans set up. But like Vegas, like we have spots, like we know exactly what restaurant to go to. Exactly
it's because it's your tradition, right?
Right.
Yeah. It's not the same. Okay, but Brandon, what? They're not going to go. So what? Now I have to go to Denver. I have to go to Utah.
I don't think you're going to go to any of those places on there. I don't think you're going to any of those places.
Double or Nothing's not going to be in Arizona every year. Like
you can gamble in New Orleans. Maybe they go to New Orleans next year to make up for people missing out on the WrestleMania.
That'd be a smart way to do it. Actually, go to New Orleans instead after you lost Mania. That's clever.
Separate from Big Rat's bias, PW Insider did say that it could be an international location that's not Saudi. Like, I don't know how you would do that. Probably unlikely to do it in London at this point, but nonetheless, it is still not confirmed where it's going to be.
Here's my question: is like, where and how do they announce the new location? Because I mean, they had The Rock do it last time. Like, who does it this time?
I mean, this will just be a press release that'll be out there.
Okay.
If it is international, they'll probably give them more money than whatever Nola was.
Oh, absolutely.
So that would justify why they would have to cancel it or why they flipped. But yes, Vegas is most likely.
Yeah.
Now, here's a question for you.
Which I think Vegas, going back to Vegas, is not a good idea. But
no, because AEW's already shown that like their crowd is not very long lasting, and I do wonder, will this affect their attendance next year? Again, they sold it pretty well. It was like 50,000 both nights, or whatever.
That's not pretty.
Jack all the prices up by like $25. And if you got less people, we're going to make a little bit more money on there.
Yeah, that would be the trend for the next few years because there's like a core like 10 to 20 to 25, whatever the number is, percentage of the Mania audience that'll still go even if you double the price. Right. So like just raise it as much as you have to until the cost benefit analysis.
As long as they can sell those on location packages, which those things are ridiculous.
Like $10,000.
But as long as they can sell those,
right,
they raise ticket price whatever they want to.
Which they'll keep doing, man.
I mean, that's the only reason why this WrestleMania was successful was because the ticket prices were so high. Because they're not doing 2 nights of WrestleMania to do 60,000 both nights. They're doing 2 nights of WrestleMania to do 70, 80,000 both nights. That's why they did the 2 nights. So, because they're running these venues that can easily hold for wrestling 100,000 people, and then
And the real sad part about doing Vegas again is it'll probably depress WrestleMania weekend again because
absolutely.
They'll know they have a ton of influence there already, and they'll know exactly what buildings they can restrict and not restrict. And
right.
Do you think someone will run the Sphere this time?
No, it's still expensive.
I want a wrestling show.
Somebody, it's not gonna be anybody other than WWE.
I know, but like again, a guy can dream. I wouldn't mind seeing any.
At the Sphere.
And the Sphere.
Yeah.
Hey, is this gonna be? And I think Dave said this on Twitter. Like, is this gonna be a common thing where you see WrestleMania being held in Las Vegas? Like, TKO is already set there with UFC and everything. Maybe this is going to be the International Fight Week if we can continue to get people to come in and fill out the stadium.
I mean, that's possible.
At what number do you not run that stadium? Once you get to 35,000 or something like that, you're not going to run that stadium.
Could you do a UFC fight weekend like on the weekend of Mania in Vegas?
Well, if it wasn't 2 nights, then because they don't really run UFC on Fridays anymore.
They don't do Friday. Okay. Oh, okay.
They can't go head to head anymore either as Backlash shows.
Well, I understand that reason, but I just wonder, is it possible for them to do some kind of UFC show in Vegas along with WrestleMania?
But it wouldn't surprise me if this is like again, I don't think they're gonna do like 3 years in a row, but if they go somewhere for like a year, maybe 2, then come back to Vegas and
I would say, if they go 3 years in a row, it's going to look almost like, what's wrong with WrestleMania? Why can't they sell to other cities almost? It's going to look desperate kind of thing.
They don't care about that. They're trying to make
but I'm just saying, what the perspectives from the public's going to be.
And also, Dave already said this today on Twitter that, the Performance Center will be in Vegas one day.
Right.
It's going to be it's the home base.
And then I think eventually that whatever is in Saudi, you're going to mimic something maybe a little bit smaller within. Especially if you can combine them, you can combine like a WWE and UFC attraction where people can come and see everything. I
mean, they've said that's what
location for stuff.
That's what they would like to do with some of this stuff is have weekends where it's a TKO weekend in some of these cities where you would do probably you'd do like a UFC show either Friday or Saturday, and then they do
SmackDown Saturday, UFC SmackDown Friday, UFC Saturday,
WWE's
100 show Sunday,
right?
Or even not even that, or 2 into that, because I think they do that now where they have the 100 show starts at 7 and UFC starts at 10. And,
yep,
right,
yeah. Speaking of traditions being broken, I know you hate that kid. All Out is moving from Chicago. What do y'all think about that?
I think that's good.
I think after the show that they had on last Wednesday with that kind of dead crowd, I think it's time to move away from Chicago. I've been saying it for a while.
Chicago might be a 100 crowd right now.
Might be. But I think Vegas and Chicago have been tapped out for AEW. Especially last year, it seemed pretty noticeable. So I think it was time to move on to somewhere else.
I mean, Toronto. I think Toronto's a good choice because
very good choice. That
crowd is going to be absolutely nuts.
Can we give the Vegas people some slack? They had a long weekend. The show's on a Sunday. The show's at 5 p.m. our time. Everyone's dead tired. It's understandable. And then they get with it by the main event, usually the last few years.
What show are you talking about? What Vegas show?
No, Double or Nothing. The last 2 years, I've noticed that trend.
Oh, well,
Also,
I have another argument about that, but we'll talk about it.
By the way, concurrently, we'll get this when we get to the show. The cards also weren't that good, each of the last 2 years.
We'll talk about.
All right, we'll talk about that. Fine.
Yeah.
Toronto's a good crowd. Toronto will give them a good pay-per-view.
Especially if it's Edge and Christian.
I think we're getting that.
I mean, that'll probably be the first match, and it'll probably they're together.
I would make that the semi-main event. I wouldn't make it the opener. But whatever. Well, we're scratching. We're breaking that.
It is good that they finally refined the calendar to where All In is earlier, and now you can have like All Out, more appropriately spaced, still with Forbidden Door still. So you
like
keep
2 months. 2 months. That's one of those things where you can build stuff up for 2 months. So.
You don't have to do the compressed. Okay, you're only going to do 100,000 buys flat because you didn't have. You only get the baseline audience, and you didn't have enough time to build up to build even more.
Is there anything taking place Labor Day weekend still? Then
I don't think
No,
so.
I mean, other than
That's-
they're
that's-
just doing the around that time they're doing the residency in Philly.
Okay.
But
that's surprising that like they're finally breaking that streak of not running on Labor Day weekend.
That's
I think it's for the best.
I don't disagree.
I think because all in should be sooner, and they learned that this year. All in should be
Right.
like in the heart of the summer. So
Yeah.
as a consequence, it kind of alters the timeline
I
of
mean,
everything.
Right, like the latest All In should be is probably like the first week of August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But which that's on. But you always got to be careful because that's usually around the time that SummerSlam does it too.
And now Forbidden Door makes more sense after All In than before
Yeah.
All In. You
Yeah.
know, so
Right.
it lines up nicely.
And Forbidden
Still
Door
want-
is selling out, but selling pretty well.
It is.
I'm excited to
It's
see that.
selling very,
Nuts.
very well.
It's not surprising with the UK though. The UK always does.
I don't know because there's.
Josh was so worried. Worried about
I'm
that.
not worried. I'm just saying that
I'm not saying you were.
just-
At the time you were, but
I'm just saying that I thought that you're when you're asking people to make a choice.
Fair.
You're,
But you know, AEW has this guy called Will Ospreay, and
Yeah.
he does.
He's
He's
going-
really popular in the UK, and all they did was tell everyone for Forbidden Door, this guy.
I know.
All right,
I
hang on.
understand that.
So let's see. When is the last all in update that we've gotten?
It's 15.
We got it on May 19th, so like 3 days ago.
Yeah, it's
15, a little over 15,000 with 54
Okay.
days left.
They
So
sold
I
900 in the last week.
I think we're gonna get that at least the 18 or 20.
I think
got to get 20. It's got to get.
It gotta be.
I think they're
yeah.
gonna get over 20.
Well, I'm just
gotta
saying, like it's gonna hit that 20 spot. And
I mean, they're gonna get a lot. I mean, they're gonna be. Here's the thing. There's gonna be a lot of comps that go out. Like I feel like we all can realize that there's gonna be a lot of comps that are gonna go out for this show. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets to that 25 mark.
I wouldn't be.
I mean, that's
20,
a lot
like 20.
right now.
25 total, 20 paid,
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, maybe a little bit lower than 20 pay, but I think it's gonna be.
Every pay-per-view this year has had a very strong gate the last few weeks. It's
That's
been
true.
a consistent theme. Revolution to Dynasty to Double or Nothing is a near sellout. And I understand, Josh, that people travel for All In. It's still Dallas. It's still a massive fucking market.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a direct flight
We'll
there,
see.
so and
We'll see.
yeah, it's not.
I would want more. At this point, I would want more than 15. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, of course.
Well,
I
and
would
it-
want more.
If you don't beat the original Grand Slam number, that's a fail. Yeah, for sure.
What was the original Grand Slam number?
Like a
Was
little
that
over 20. Like a
Yeah.
little over
Okay.
20. Yeah.
Yeah.
But granted, that was when they were white hot. They were absolutely
and-
smoking hot in that time period.
Well, but but I think if you're comparing a TV show taping, like it was a big deal, but a TV show taping to their biggest pay-per-view of the year, which this is definitely what this is. And
Yes.
I think it
And
is
that's just
comparable.
That's just butts and seats. I mean, the gate
Yeah.
is going to declare what they did.
Oh,
with the
they'll
Grand
they'll
Slam.
they'll
But
they'll
as far as
pretty
butts
sure
and
they-
seats, you definitely want to at least, at the very minimum, beat that show.
I'm
Right.
pretty sure I heard that like this is already $1 million gate.
Oh, over.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
over.
Okay, okay.
It's already like Dave said, it's already going to be either the top North American gate or first or second. Like
Yeah,
Either that or that Forbidden Door they did. And,
yeah.
yeah.
Because my thing with the gates is I always like the gate numbers are always good. Don't get me wrong, and it's a good thing to talk about. But if you're not going to compare them inflation wise, they're kind of like pointless. It's very WWE like smoke and mirrors. Hey, this is the biggest gate we've ever done in the city. Yeah, well, this is the biggest gate you've done in the city because it's not really the biggest gate you've done in the city, really. So that's my one thing with that. And that's a very small gripe, but
and we have a lot of time still. And look, I remember, not to continue my rant.
Talk shit.
I remember in April when they moved like 1,000 tickets in a week. And Lyric and all these people were saying this is proof that Swerve is moving tickets for All In. By the way, the buy rate was terrible for that pay-per-view. So that already cuts against that argument.
no, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
What was the buy rate? I didn't even see what it
It
was.
was 110,000 buys. World's End did like 125. And everyone hated the World's End main event.
That's not great. It's not terrible, but not great.
It's the baseline. And by the way, all I'm saying is in the last 8 days, they've sold 900 tickets. It's a very similar argument to that dumb argument people were making back in April.
But nine, that's not. They
lot
should
of
be. They should be selling more tickets than that. Is my point.
But I think, like Kid said, once they get into the group, once you get past this next pay per view, and like
once they know the main
super
event.
hype train, other than people looking at the banner, once the hype train starts, you might start selling some
Maybe.
tickets for sure.
I would like to know.
I would like to be wrong. I'm just saying.
Could someone find
don't-
the
Beach Break?
Find the-
Beach Break is like one of the best numbers they've done in a while. Not and like I'll use your argument, not because of total viewership, but because it was going against two very high scoring playoff games from two different leagues, and they actually peaked in the main event segment, which never happens on AEW.
I agree. I told, but the thing is, when they started that program, I said this is good. This is what they should have been doing the whole time, because this is the right opponent
Correct.
for Mox. I said
agree.
that.
I agree.
I said that.
So what's your stand on that whole thing right now? Like, do you have any differences on how your thought process is for the Death Riders and Mox's reign where we're at now versus what we talked about?
Not really, because I'm still scared.
A month or so
that,
ago?
I'm still scared that we're going to get Tony doing Tony of this was the original plan. We're staying with this. And
the original plan being what Darby is going to get the championship.
No,
Darby.
okay.
I don't. I see a lot of people on Twitter and stuff saying I don't feel that.
I don't fit with Forbidden Door. It does not fit with Forbidden Door.
No.
This is like I'm like they've especially when on Dynamite they actually had Ospreay mention like being a champion into Forbidden Door is part of his mission here.
I understand. I'm just saying that still bothers me.
I think the original plan was all in Texas. That's when Moxley gets beat. And if Darby had been around and gotten as hot as Ospreay did, sure. But at the same time, I would say Darby beating Moxley doesn't need the belt. Ospreay needs the belt right now.
No, I agree with that.
Even if you do Hangman, like one of those guys should be the one, and
it won't be Hangman. But
you can do Darby and Mox, and it does not have to be for the belt.
Because the story of the Moxley Darby thing is about Darby beating Moxley. That's the point of it. It's not about taking the belt from Moxley.
And I would agree. Like everyone agrees Joe is awesome. Like obviously Joe's a great character. He's a great character for a television feud, especially. Like it was perfect. I just want to say, back in March and April, there were a lot of people that were saying like, I can't take this story for X amount of months. It's fine and good for us to now say it's actually better than I thought it would be because Joe is a good challenger. But that optimism and open-mindedness was not there back in March.
Yeah.
I think having
you still got a lot of people like that who cannot
a
see
lot
Darby.
of people were like, I do not care what the Death Riders do. I hate the Death Riders. I hate the Death Riders. And there is no way you can get me to enjoy the product while they're on top. And that was crazy. That was too far.
I think that just people got burnt out because, like, what was it? 3 pay-per-views in a row. Moxley's matches have shit the bed. They were the worst match on the card sometimes. And I think that people have just they're ready for something new. And let's be honest, the Death Rider stuff early on was not very good. And they've gotten better now.
Early on was good. It's just that stuff that
it
was really good at the start.
Yes, really at the start.
You were optimistic, like, oh shit, where is this gonna go?
And then I would say the first pay-per-view was Moxley versus Cassidy. That was really good. And then after that, just the rails fell off real fast. And they've gotten back on track pretty well. But it was a rough December to April, maybe.
I'd say
okay, March.
Right before, probably the week before Revolution is when I at least started. Like for all the complaining people had about it going into Dynasty, people were into that program. I
would say that
not for buying the pay-per-view, but
personally, I think the Moxley Cope sequel, the moment with the spiked bat, that was when I started kind of seeing like the Death Rider stuff get back on track. Was that match?
Look, it's also a reflection of the rest of the card too. Like that. Yeah. Like the MJF Jeff Jarrett segments that people hated were also getting a lot of TV time during that time period too. Like it was like the Darby announcement of Darby like going to climb the mountain that like really enraged the online fan base as well. Like it was a lot kind of snowballing at once. But we'll see how it looks. Just because it's been better lately doesn't mean it'll be good going into All In either. Like they still have to take the landing on that.
And we also got to get through Blood and Guts first, which I'm curious if are we going to get more Death Rider?
Blood and Guts with the women. Blood and Guts with the women. Let's do it. This is the year to do it. You ain't got to worry about these storylines of these guys. Just throw 5-on-5 women and go.
Honestly,
what heel women on the roster like do you need to see in Blood and Guts?
What heel? Hold on a second.
Marie.
Let me do a little.
Sky Blue would need to be.
I mean, the only way you could do it is if you do
Shafir, but you would
One.
have to wait.
Let's do
because
5-on-5. So you got Mina Shafir. I'm gonna throw Athena in there because people. I
As
feel
a
like
heel?
that would be good to throw in there. So
If
put
you
Athena
get-
in there.
Mariah May and Tony would be helpful.
I wouldn't
because
put Mariah May. I don't think this
But-
would be
but-
right
well,
now. But
You're running out of heels, man. Like there's like 3.
you're
that
not.
care
You
about.
got
also you got to get people that can do hardcore stuff, and that's
you
not
got
everyone on the roster.
all the women, all the,
Penelope Ford. You got
all
Penelope
the
Ford.
women.
You got Megan Bain.
Okay.
Not
all
fair.
the women
not
can
Ford.
do the hard.
So I got 4 right there.
None of
and
them want to
then,
do it though.
Get somebody else.
Yeah, they do. They do.
How you know? They all want to do it.
But no, there is probably a few women on the roster that don't want to do the
They've
hardcore.
all.
Well, they're
they-
not gonna do it. You're gonna get the people who
That's what
want
I'm
to do
saying.
it.
You got to
But
take
they've
into account.
all
the
pretty
people
much done a hardcore match.
all I'm saying is you need to be careful about selecting women that like can go into this match and are good workers and will also do some crazy
Well,
ass shit.
That's a different argument.
Well,
That's
I know
different.
but that's part of the argument. Like like I'm sorry, like I don't think like I don't know. I would want to see her, but like you can't say Serena Deeb would be good in this match because Serena Deeb ain't gonna do no hardcore shit.
You don't know that. You don't know anything
Bullshit.
about her or her life.
You know that.
You don't know
She
nothing about her.
ain't, she ain't like that, man.
You don't
You
know
don't
that.
know that.
Yeah.
They don't-
See,
they don't-
different.
yeah,
I
And
mean,
then
the only
guys
way
in the regular season they don't play anything, and then get to the playoffs, and it's a whole different side of them. You're like, oh shit, I know he can do that. Put
Yeah.
Serena Deeb in the
do
spot.
you hold on like if you're gonna do you hold off for the 90 days so that you can get
Shotzi?
Shayna
Okay.
Baszler.
Shayna Baszler?
It
'Cause
I
she
would say
fit. She would fit and
if you could not do Blood and Guts until after all that, that'd be fucking smart in my
I
opinion.
mean it's usually in July, so I mean
They've done it in June though.
Well,
I know.
usually, but yeah, Josh, the timing is weird though because what are you gonna do? Blood and Guts like 2 weeks before All In? I guess you could.
Maybe.
Why not? I mean, a lot of
Why
those
not?
girls are not going to be on the show, so you might as well.
a lot of because you're probably this year because it's in the UK. You can have more international talent on that show. I expect like on the one thing I expect to be on Forbidden Door. I think we're going to get a women's gauntlet.
Okay.
I think we're going to get a women with the
because they're probably the men
CMLL
at All In, and you
Yeah.
just
Start
women's
so
one
like
at-
Stardom and CMLL probably.
CMLL, and so you have like this big giant match that leads to whatever is going to happen at All Out.
Could you do that on television and in Scotland and maybe do the men's on the pay-per-view? Because I think that
No, I think we'll get a men's version on
at
Okay.
All Out.
All Out.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I feel like that should be All In. That should be a
Yeah.
signature match for All In
Okay.
at this point.
Okay.
And then whoever wins gets the match at All Out. So
Okay. That could work.
Maybe they won't even do Blood and Guts this year, guys. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe you know.
I mean, but we're doing Anarchy. in the Arena,
they're
so-
breaking traditions, so maybe this is one they're gonna break.
No, but
I
like,
wouldn't mind it waiting until after July, and honestly, put the Don Callis family in the Blood and Guts. I'd be okay with that. Those guys are all talented.
it's a lot easier to do Blood and Guts and Anarchy in the Arena when it's not the same fucking 2 teams. And
Yeah,
Right.
that's exactly my point. It's like whoever is involved, the Death Riders can't be in both, in my opinion. It should be 2 different storylines.
it's kind of
We'll see.
I hope
I didn't want them to do either match this year. So
I was kind of hoping we
doesn't
wouldn't do an
fit.
Anarchy Arena.
It kind of doesn't fit to have the Death Riders in the company and to have a Blood and Guts match that doesn't involve them. Like it's
yeah,
just,
like they're
Okay.
made for Blood and Guts. I mean, as soon as they started the angle, everyone was like, "Oh, this is going to be awesome once Blood and Guts comes around."
yeah.
Like,
No,
that was
Okay.
I'd rather and like I just said, like I'd rather it not be the same teams in both matches. But like for their gimmick in particular, it's just kind of hard to leave them out of that match.
Yeah.
and that's a good way to have like the finality of the Death Riders would be at
Then you need to do it after All In. Then after Ospreay
Oh
wins
yeah,
the belt.
no.
There you go.
I would do it. I would because you're not going to have everybody on the roster at Forbidden Door. I wouldn't think. I think we're going to see a lot of CMLL talent on Forbidden Door.
That'd be great.
I think that's
cool.
what the Arena Mexico show is really setting up. So
I can't wait for that. I'm so excited for that show.
Let's keep we were very excited last year. Like let's keep expectations in check. I
well,
understand.
I mean,
It's different.
we were, but we're definitely have more stuff this year,
We do.
and
I just remember if you go to March of 2024 when we were doing our Revolution previews, like we were talking then, oh my God, CMLL and Rev Pro and New Japan and AEW and Forbidden Door was the tamest on paper card they had ever had. You know?
Yeah,
True.
It's still a good show though.
But I think last year, I think you still had matches from New Japan you could still do last year. This year is not. That's just not there. They've got maybe 2 or 3, and that's
Right now, Gabe Kidd versus Omega again, which I know a lot of it's gonna be sequels, but Ospreay versus Saber, and I want to see Yota Tsuji in AEW because I like that guy. So don't know who you put him in the ring with.
I'd rather see Gabe Kidd fight Ospreay personally, but we'll see.
Yeah, actually, that match would probably be better, but because those guys have history too, going way back, so you could really build into that, and also the promos would be fantastic.
Before we get to Forbidden Door, we do have Double or Nothing. Kid, you're going to be there. I know you're probably excited to be there in Glendale, Arizona. We were there. We watched WrestleMania. Which one was that, Josh?
26.
26.
Thank you.
26.
Yeah, we were there. How are we going to watch the show? Because apparently Triller is going out of business. So how are people going to be watching the show?
I mean, I've watched the last 2 on Prime. So
yeah, well, I've ordered the last 2. I haven't watched them live, but I've ordered them, and it's definitely a good service for sure. But it sucks to hear that the Triller seems to be maybe going away soon. I don't know if they can't pay the bills or.
I think the bigger thing is if they go away, is GCW as we know it go away. Like just
a lot of these.
Are they on Fight?
What?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The Triller Plus is like all GCW
it's
stuff.
built around.
No. What about Fight? Like FITE? Isn't that a?
Yeah, they're Triller. That's the same thing. Triller.
Okay. I didn't know. I thought they were 2 separate things. So
no, they're the same thing.
Okay.
But I think that's, to me, that's kind of the bigger thing, because that's the company that would be hit the most. Maybe they've already got something figured out. Maybe that's why.
Go back to Flow Slam.
Yeah, or something. something. Maybe I've seen some people say maybe they'll do the YouTube thing the same way that CMLL has done.
There's no money in YouTube like that, bro.
I know. I mean,
well, I shouldn't say that, but as a fan experience for all the events that GCW puts on, I don't mind getting the Triller Plus because you pay $8.99 and $9.99, you get all these different events, especially around WrestleMania weekend. I don't know how they're going to be able to replicate that when it comes to YouTube, you know?
Right.
And then all the international people as well watching AEW.
I still watch Dynamite and Collision on Triller. Like I cannot deal with the not picture in picture of the max speed. I just cannot deal with it. I don't know how you guys deal with it. Like I can't.
I deal with it for Max. There is no picture in picture. Like it's just straight commercial break.
And that's what I mean. Like not being able to miss. Like you're missing like 5 minutes of like a 15-minute match. To me is a big deal. I can't stomach that. Like
I don't want to deal with Express VPN or whatever all that crap to get Thriller. I don't want to deal with it. I pay for HBO Max and I get to watch on there. There you go. Problem solved.
Yeah, no, it'd be real sad. They did a promotion today that you can get like 3 months of Triller in the summer for like a discounted price. Not a good sign. Not a good sign.
Here's a question though. And I know it's a very long shot, but like with WWE's recent like trying to get more content, could they do an olive branch to GCW to keep them afloat? Because they're working with them for the ID
but then they don't have to go deal through Peacock and unless they straight up bought the infrastructure of Fight.
I mean,
or Triller.
If WWE wants to have a hand in the indies like they've been doing for the past few months, like this could be a chance for them to swoop in and grab something.
We'll see.
I mean, how often do we hear about promotion or territories losing their TV deal, and here comes Vince to swoop in and buy all their stuff? So wouldn't be the first time.
Show.
We got Double or Nothing. Hey, I have something I want to bring up. Alex already knows this argument because he heard me last night. By the way, if you guys want to join us, sometimes on Wednesdays, a lot of times on Wednesdays, we do go on to the chat and watch Dynamite together. So please come on the Discord. The link is in the description. Come on.
It's a voice chat, so it's like
it's a voice chat. Yeah, just hang out. You don't have to talk. You can stay muted and just hang out and just listen to us talk shit.
Listen to Adam sing "We Hurt People."
Yes, come on and hang out with us. But yeah, I brought this up. Alex heard last night. When it comes to Double or Nothing, and by the way, we're going into year 7 of AEW. Is that crazy? Year 7. Yeah. When it comes to Double or Nothing and like the pay-per-view franchises that AEW puts on, is this the most disappointing franchise that they have?
You know, you say that, and it's interesting. From a match quality perspective, certainly like the last 2 years, 2 of the weaker AEW pay-per-views of the year, if not the weakest each year. You're right on that. Interestingly, because the reason why I knew the buy rate thing to Josh, because I looked it up earlier today. Did you guys know that last year's Double or Nothing did
really well? Yeah.
135,000 buys. Even though the card was cold, I was going, and I was still like, this is flat, this is flat, this is flat. And it did better than all those random B pay-per-views that created out of nowhere, like Dynasty, like Wrestle Dream, all out on a week's notice.
But is that a prestige thing, though? Is that a prestige thing?
That's the point I'm trying to make. In terms of match quality, you're right. But I think for the AEW fan base, based on last year's number, we'll see for this year's number, it seems like that name, Double or Nothing, still means something to these fans.
I could see that.
I mean, this is a better card than the last 2 years, without.
Yeah.
But I think that to Brandon's point, I think though is that I think AEW has evolved past Double or Nothing being a big show. I think it's just kind of like
it's one of the big shows, but not the biggest show.
Right.
It's one of the big four.
I would.
So look. I was bored. I ain't got no life, and I did some math the other day. So I added up I used Cage Match, of course. Sure. I used Cage Match ratings, and I got the average of all the pay-per-views that AEW has done. Okay. And of the 6, or of the 4 that they've done, they have 6 of them. Revolution, Double or Nothing, All Out, and Full Gear. Double or Nothing is clearly like the lowest of those 4. And there are a couple others that are higher than them as well. Like All In is higher than it. Wrestle Dream is higher than it. The only thing that's lower is World's End and Dynasty. And
I'm surprised about Dynasty, because Dynasty's been pretty good the last.
And it's not even that much lower than Double or Nothing. That's the thing.
Double or Nothing. Don't you think Double or Nothing is also hurt by the last 2 years? Bad, mediocre, whatever you want to call it. And in 2021, isn't that like the consensus worst pay-per-view main event in AEW history?
Yes, 2021. That was a good show.
No. The main event of the
main event.
Yeah,
the main event
of 2021.
The inner circle versus the Pinnacle in the Stadium Stampede.
I would say that's probably one of the worst pay-per-view main events until probably the 4-way at World's End last year. Yeah. That one probably
just because it didn't feel like the
worst pay-per-view main event was that one. Worse than like MJF and Jay White.
The match that you just hate.
I'll
stunk.
Hot take. I actually like that match a lot.
I mean, it's fine, but that match stunk.
Look, Double or Nothing. Okay, but Brandon, it's not like I don't think there's like a reason for it. It's not like, oh, it's May now. Like the wrestling is going to get worse in AEW. Like I think it just happened.
But I feel like these cars have always underdelivered.
This year,
and AEW is really good with like over delivering with bad cards. Sometimes you're like, oh man, I'm not super excited for it, and it ends up being like one of the best shows. I mean, look at the first Forbidden Door. Like everyone was like, oh, this build is terrible, this car is terrible, and ended up being one of the best.
He had all the injuries. He had all the injuries, and all that show was just snake bit.
The original All In too, same thing.
That 2022, the first one that I went to. Like that felt like a big deal at the time. That's the first Anarchy in the Arena that is still revered. It is a long ass show. It was a 5-hour show. I would know.
Yeah,
but that first Double or Nothing match, Anarchy in the Arena match, is still like revered on Hollow ground.
I love that match.
It's a great match.
You know, the main event with Punk and Page is now kind of a historic AEW match, for better or for worse. Like it hasn't always been bad. It's just been last year.
I think one of the things, and I brought this up to Brandon on Wednesday, is a big reason like Double or Nothing kind of has fallen in the wayside is just because unfortunate circumstances where it's after Revolution, which has kind of become like the big show for AEW, and also in between before All In, which is obviously their biggest show they try to hype up. So I think it's just kind of one of those things where like it got stuck between 2 highly important shows and just can't really put together a huge card.
I have a counter argument. How much of it is that you're putting so much talent in this Anarchy in the Arena match that you don't need to do? You don't have to do this match.
I would say the first Double or Nothing is the best Double or Nothing they've ever done.
Like you don't need to do this match on this show. You can if you want to say we're going to do Anarchy Arena at least once a year, it can be on.
Why not do a Grand Slam with Anarchy in the Arena? Well, I know you probably can do as much crazy shit on television than you can pay-per-view. That might be a big factor.
It's a decent point because when they do Blood and Guts, that's on TV, so you don't really.
Okay, you're right.
You don't really care if the Blood and Guts undercard.
They've done nothing worse in the Anarchy Arena than they did when Mox got the spikes in his back. Like there's been nothing worse.
I was just throwing it out there. I didn't know if that could be a factor.
Like Jack Perry being set on fire was
That
a
was
little bit
probably-
more tame than that for sure.
That was awesome. I love
I think
that.
I guess that's a fair reason. And also, the last 2 years, you had Forbidden Door right after Double or Nothing, and you were saving certain programs for that, especially the international talent.
Could,
I mean,
could
that's
the
part of
music
it.
thing be an issue?
I doubt it.
Again, I'm throwing shit at the wall, see
But-
what sticks.
But a key thing I want to emphasize, though, Brandon, is I do think the tradition changes because I do think this is important talking about this show this year. Like, it seems like there's a designed intent to make Double or Nothing this year the all-in precursor show, like having the Owen Hart final matches both being decided at all in. I mean, it's nothing.
Which I'm
And being
highly
big,
in favor
and being big deals. That's
Yes.
the other like.
Being the most and I think as a result, if they do this every year, you will start to look at Double or Nothing very differently because it'll carry.
Of course, yeah, of course.
which honestly, like,
Like
I'll
a
be
G1
honest,
final.
I would be okay then if I know that we have like a prestigious tournament finals for the men and the women, and then I wouldn't mind the Anarchy because Anarchy is going to stand out because like those other matches are going to be straight up wrestling matches. I think that's one thing that AEW has an issue with every once in a while is like they loaded these cards with hardcore matches, so Anarchy in the Arena doesn't feel as special.
Now Anarchy in the Arena is going to be fun. And now, yeah, I mean, like, well, doing Anarchy in the Arena, the same show you did an unsanctioned match with Chris Jericho and Adam Cole was like crazy. Like that.
That match
my point.
stunk.
It was so
God, that match was awful.
It was so bad. And the random Sabu cameo for no reason.
Oh, I forgot about that too. Damn.
Everyone forgot about that. No.
So but Brandon, like, are you feeling? I know, okay, traditionally the brand equity suffered, even though, like we said, pay-per-view buy wise, it does better than most pay-per-views for whatever reason. Like, because people, I guess, are just feeling the brand. So
Let's go through this card and let me see how I feel once we go through this card to see if I think it's going to be a little bit better than what we've seen previously.
It's top heavy, I would say.
Let's go through this real quick. We guys go on every match. Okada versus Bailey for the Continental title. I feel like it should be a good match.
I'm very excited.
If my fear is that Okada will be like, it's Mike Bailey, I don't give a shit.
And he don't have to go, like he can stay in second gear.
Yeah.
Now, can Mike Bailey bring it out of him, even though he doesn't want to? Because Mike
I
Bailey,
think Bailey could.
I mean, Bailey could just be like, okay, you ain't giving me fucking anything. I'm just gonna jump around, fly around.
I'm
the
gonna
ring
take it from you.
I'm gonna stiff. What if Bailey decides to stiff kicks him one time? Could that piss him off?
I think.
Yeah.
Fire him up.
I think this is a very important. I think it's an important match for the legacy of this pay-per-view. I think it's the inflection point match of the show because most people, Anarchy in the Arena, the two Owen finals matches, I think people are generally very excited for. There's a lot of matches that you're about to say that no one cares about after that. I think this match is the one where if it's your generic half-assed Okada match, whatever, but if it's like a special undercard match, then I think we can view the whole show.
Or does Okada say this match has to be good to lead
into the Omega match? That's exactly what I was thinking.
That's a very good point.
He might be like, okay, I got to bring it for this match. And if that's the case, then this match will be fucking insane.
Honestly, like, I don't think Okada's ever really phoned it in too much on pay-per-view. Not too
much. I disagree.
I mean, the who did he face at Revolution? I wasn't
Brody
like
King.
I thought the Brody match was good.
Brody King, that match was really good, but that match was really good because Brody King went out there.
That's fair.
Busted his ass.
And there's no difference between that match and what you could see on Dynamite. Like, I guess Dynamite matches have a lower floor where they could just be like outright bad. But what you've got in that Brody match, you could see any week on Dynamite.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
FTR versus Garcia and Nigel McGuinness.
This could be fun. This could be fun.
I am very happy that I get to see Nigel live. I really never thought I'd get the chance. So I think that's pretty cool. And I'm going to be excited.
I think the crowd will be really into that part of it. I'm wondering if this is where Coke comes back.
No, too early.
He could.
No, he could. No, he's not. It's not too early for him to come back.
He's been gone for like 6 weeks. Like, it's been a long time.
Here's maybe, but like, I don't know. Maybe you want to say this for TV. Again, it depends on what's going to happen with the Anarchy in the Arena. If they're going to have a crazy return for that, you don't want that to be overshadowed.
But here's the problem.
It's like Eddie Kingston comes back or something.
Exactly.
But Eddie's going to get a massive pop no matter. Like, they're not going to hurt.
They brought MJF back like in the middle of the show.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I did forget about that. Okay, you're right.
People expect surprise on pay-per-view, and furthermore, the way this feud has been built, like FTR is going to win. I assume everyone agrees on that.
Yeah, that absolutely.
It doesn't make sense for them to win and like go to the back. Like the whole point of what they've done on TV is they should win and then try to pile drive someone. And then
Nigel's neck.
And then
someone
you know him.
Yeah, whether it's Cope or you could just lazily have Paragon come out.
Because you could have Cope come out and then you lead for a while. You could have Cope and Garcia versus FTR, and then that lead, because here's the thing: you got a long time. Like, this is why I think Edge and Christian will happen at All Out. Not just because it's in Toronto, but because that gives you enough time.
Just give it time, give it time.
Because you need time for the Christian part. You're not ready for we're not even close to being ready for the Christian part.
I really want to see Christian versus Nick Wayne at All In. I think that there's especially with how good Nick Wayne's promos have been, he deserves that chance to have a big match on pay-per-view.
I think they've done well with the Christian part. I agree with Josh. We're not done. Like, we have a lot more work to go.
Yeah.
You already this is what Christian's
You see it. It's just
clearly still a heel, but very clearly about to turn. Like, it's
right.
Well done.
Or somebody's going to turn on him, and then he
see the light. Yeah.
I think what they should do is they have. I like the idea of Cope and Danny teaming up for a little while, and maybe you have FTR take out Danny, and then Cope's hey, I need someone, and goes to Christian maybe to try to bring him onto his side or something.
There's a lot of ways they can go. Like Josh,
a lot of ways.
Plenty of time.
Yeah.
But I do think this could be fun. I think people may not remember, but right after Revolution, they did a Dynamite in Arizona. And it was so hot. The crowd was crazy hot for a lot of things on the show. I think the crowd is going to be really excited to see Nigel.
Well,
that's going to carry the match.
It's also the first pay-per-view in Arizona, so that's got to track something.
You'll have, I would expect that it being there, you'll probably have a younger crowd too. That'll probably help.
Could be.
Well, and also a crowd that's just there to watch wrestling, and was eating at restaurants and sitting in dive bars all weekend instead of having to come on the city and traveling everywhere.
And you will probably also get, I will imagine, some people from California.
Yeah, and even Vegas probably if there's wrestling fans out there.
Or Colorado too.
Colorado, yeah. There you go.
A lot of very.
Structure match: Mark Briscoe versus Ricochet.
I
Don't care.
think it'll be good.
It'll be fun, but
it's Mark Briscoe and Ricochet. It's going to be a good match, but I'm kind of about the stipulation because stretcher matches could either be crazy matches or they could be kind of shitty.
Well, look, good. We need to redefine good when we talk about these pay-per-views, because this is exactly my complaint about Anthony Bowens getting a singles push one day. It's yes, he's good. Is he good enough to matter?
I was wrong on that one so far. I was wrong. I'm not into that.
You guys are probably right. This will probably be a 3 1/4-star match or whatever. Is it going to be good enough?
Oh, I think it'll be better than that. I think it'll be.
Yeah. I think it'll be wacky crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to get that much heat. As over as Mark Briscoe is, I don't people don't really have a reason to care about this match. The stipulation is going to throw people
jumping onto a guy laying on a stretcher.
I watched, and yes, this was with Jay, and Brandon watched it too. We went into a match where they were both ice cold, and they took on who'd they take on? Who'd they take on in Georgia, in Atlanta?
The All Night Express?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and they just bled all over the place. Oh yeah, it was crazy.
Everyone was just "Oh, this is pretty good." And then Jay pops up and he's covered in blood, and it was over after that. So I have faith that this could be really good. But I agree. I don't. The build's been what the build is, and it's definitely both of them just treading water until they do something else.
Yeah.
But they have at least tried to make it be a feud, and hopefully this is the blow off. So
I would say so.
I would, and I will report on this next week. But I'm curious if it goes that order that Brandon just said: Okada Bailey, then the FTR Nigel match, then this. I'm suspicious that when this match happens, I'm going to be there and I'm going to see a lot of people get up.
I would say so. I could see that too.
They may come back, of course.
This should probably open the show.
No, you can't. I wouldn't open with. I think opening with Okada Bailey is the way to go.
I think you should open with. I think you should open with the next match we're going to talk about, which is the women's tournament final: Mercedes Moné versus Jamie Hager.
No,
I think you should open with that match.
It's not going
hot fucking match to open the show.
Well, it won't, right?
No. What do you mean it won't? Why not?
They need to have time to do the presentation of it or everything like that.
First time and to open the show.
No.
No,
Yeah.
it'll be farther down the card.
Yeah,
I think they want to place it farther down the card.
I would.
I agree with you, but I think they want to place it farther down the card to give it more importance.
Yeah,
I think as well.
I would. Here's my prediction. Number one, I think Tony Storm's gonna have her match first, and then they're gonna have the women's finals. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's the women's finals, the Anarchy in the arena, and then the men's main event.
Yeah, you can't you can't. The whole point of this show that we just talked about is that they're making the Owen Hart finals feel like a big deal. Not that the opener doesn't matter, I understand, but it's not the same. And for sure, they're gonna
Max wrestles in every opener.
Yeah, but that's different.
Also, this in this particular case, this is probably the second or third biggest match on the show.
Yeah,
Max's openers are not always that. And secondly, they're going to want Tony and Mercedes to face with the all-in graphic in the background. That's hard to do in the opener.
You can face-to-face when Tony wins her match and have the winner come out. I'm betting all y'all $1. I'm betting all y'all $1. $1.
I'll take the bet. Virtual shake right now. You're on, man.
I think Speedball's going to open.
Yeah, I'm with Big Man on this.
But I'm excited for the match, regardless. I'm very excited for Mercedes and Jamie.
There's no I want to say this because I told LV I talk about this. I don't know if you guys agree, but I've been watching TV the last few weeks, and I've come more and more around the conclusion that Mercedes needs to win this match, of course, and that Tony should beat her at All In. Am I alone in that? Because
it depends on what you have scheduled, what the plans are after All In. Like if the idea I'm going to throw out, and I'm going to fuel fire that I shouldn't fuel. If the idea we're going to have Mercedes win, and then we're going to go back to the Mercedes and Willow feud, then Mercedes needs to win. If you're not going to do that, then I kind of agree with you. But it depends on whatever you have planned after All In.
Here's my biggest question, though. Does Mercedes go in? Say Mercedes is going to lose the match at All In. Does she go in TBS champion?
Yeah. And then she could, and then by losing, she still has that title reign that she can then use for the next year. Because
next year,
or however long it takes. But here's why I said year. Because I think based on how they've done this, if you have Mercedes beat Tony, it's not like obviously then Mercedes' first loss in AEW is going to be treated as this big deal. That's not going to happen at Forbidden Door. She'll probably have to be champion for at minimum 6-7 months, most likely to All In the next year.
I could say All Out.
The whole point is that's a lot of Mercedes for a year, and this happens a lot in wrestling. The best example it's ever been done was probably Jay Lethal in 2015, Ring of Honor TV champion for a year. Then he wins the world title and he's world champion for a year. But very often when these things happen, I tend to think it's a little bit repetitive. Who is Mercedes if she's going to be world champ for a year? She's going to feud with the same people that she's been beating for the TBS title. It's going to be a lot of the same matches, the same promos, the same gimmick. And for what purpose? If Josh is right, okay, we're going to have Willow win the Owen and beat her at All In, and that's going to crown Willow the next year. If they actually do that, that's one thing. But even if they do, that's waiting a long time.
Yeah.
What if the story going into All In, right? Because we still have some time, is Mercedes wins this match, and then she goes along, but and then she starts losing those titles.
Sure.
Right. And then she basically goes on a losing streak leading up to
being world champ.
Yeah. And then because you can do that with her and it'll be fine and she can still win and then it'd be hook or crook.
I guess that would be different because then in the world you're postulating, she's having her first AEW loss already. She's losing the TBS title to someone.
Right.
And if it's her losing it and taking the fall, not what they did with the New Japan Strong title, then I guess you're right, because then you're not delaying that for another year, and I guess that's fine. But for me, at least, I am compelled as of now that elevating Tony to an even higher level, from not just a star, but to possibly a difference-making star, I think is likely going to get more value out of Mercedes' first loss than having her be champion for another year.
But who do you have her feud with after this, though?
I would say, I think the person who should take it off her.
Tony.
Oh, and Tony. Oh,
That's the thing, because if you've elevated her, which is great,
Yeah.
but if you don't have
I mean,
anyone,
you could have Jamie Hayter.
but
You could.
that's
The heel dynamic is messed up, but at least at the very least, in both worlds, like Tony feuding with random people, I agree, but Tony's at least a big star.
Right.
Mercedes being champion and feuding with random people, is she going to be a difference maker?
I don't think she would be feuding with random people. Is kind of my.
But like, look at the people on the roster. Unless she wants to just get in a different challenger from international, but for the world title, like no one's going to buy that. Like, it's one thing for the TBS title match, second spot on Revolution. They're going to have a fun match. We know Mercedes will win, but it doesn't matter. But when it's the women's world title, just fighting these random people that you know Mercedes is going to beat every month, I don't think she has enough charisma to carry that for a year. Or at the very least, even if it'll be okay, I don't think it'll be better than Tony having those same matches with those same women.
Well, that's what I said. I think if she wins, you then have to do a feud with Willow.
Well, and also
a year?
What? No. But you see, you're saying a year. I don't think you go that way.
I think if Mercedes beats Tony at All In, she is like the demigod of the division, and she cannot lose unless it's like on a big show. It would have to be Revolution or All In next year.
Mercedes ain't losing in 2025. If she wins the belt, she's not losing until next year.
No.
And
what are you going to do? Have her lose at WrestleDream? Like, just doesn't have the same.
The only one that you could probably do is maybe All Out, but like that's too early.
I think Tony beating her would be a big deal for Tony, and I'm not convinced that Mercedes.
I think it helps cement Tony as like the top woman in AEW more than it already is. But at the same time, I'm a little annoyed because I'm classic where like I want Mercedes' first loss to be putting someone else over and getting to that next level. Like I thought forever it was gonna be Statlander, and they've clearly kind of moved away from that.
You can still like Mercedes' value to this company is these awesome matches that she can have.
Yeah, no, she's been great.
Like who would you rather see cut promos? Who would you rather see being blood?
I understand what you're saying.
Who's more over? Like
I understand, but what I'm saying is that I think if the idea, no, you're right. If the idea is just okay, we're gonna have Mercedes win, and then she's gonna do like what you said, just random people, then yeah, it doesn't matter who. It really doesn't matter. You can have Tony win, but if the idea is okay, we're gonna have her, and we're gonna have Mercedes lose, like you guys are saying, then I would say. You could easily, because they do treat it like a bigger show, you could do Full Gear and have her lose it Full Gear. I understand it's not a huge thing, but it would be a.
But here's something that we haven't brought up is like what happens with the Athena stuff that they kind of started teasing.
They don't care.
Where does that go?
They don't care about that stuff.
I don't know. I think they started something, and I think we could see that come back around after All In. Hopefully. I would love to see Athena versus Mercedes. And Mercedes dropping the TBS title to Athena would be fucking awesome. I think she deserves it.
Well, and then kind of like to my point, like just because you have, let's say, because Josh, obviously, to be clear, in my world, that Tony goes over, Mercedes is not losing the TBS title before.
Right.
And you could still have some level of intrigue of, the woman that's TBS champion for whatever the days will be by that point, like 5 years or whatever. Like you could still carry that for a few more months. You could still have Willow or Stat or whoever, or Athena, whoever you want, beat Mercedes for the TBS title and treat it like a big deal. I'm just not compelled in redoing Mercedes' TBS run as the world champion.
No, if you do that, then you're right.
I could see.
I think you have to do some. You have her win that belt so that sometime in the next 6 to 9 months, you have her drop it to Willow or whoever.
I would say this: if Mercedes goes into All In as TBS champion, she's not going to win. But if she drops the belt beforehand, that's my prediction.
Well,
if she drops it beforehand, I could see her winning the belt at All In.
I agree with him on that. If she loses the TBS title at any point before All In, like she's definitely winning it all.
Oh yeah, but I would. What I'm saying is, I wouldn't be shocked if they have her win even with the TBS champion, and then she just says, okay.
I don't like that though, because like you built up the idea of her being this undefeated champion and she's the greatest TBS champion. So I would say like if she wins both and vacates one of them or drops it to someone else,
that would suck.
Like exactly. So like I think if she's winning the belt, she has to drop the TBS title before All In.
But I guess to Josh's point, it could be bad, but they don't have like Josh is right. Like she very easily could just have both titles. It's fine.
She could, but then it's like, okay, well, is she's gonna drop one but not the other? It gets messy like that. Or I guess you could do the Kurt Angle WrestleMania 2000 thing where it's like one falls for one belt and one falls for the other belt.
Yeah,
messy, I know.
They'll probably have her lose it in a 3-way again. Like it'll probably be something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, so she loses the belt without dropping the belt. Thanks.
I mean, she just did.
I know. It was stupid then too. So
sorry, Brent. Sorry that we took so long on that, Brandon.
No, you're straight. I just want to see a good match. I don't give a fuck who wins. Do you have anything to say about Tony Storm and Miniature Power? Like, I mean, Tony's gonna win. Like,
it'll be a fun match.
It'll be fun.
Big Red, I think this will be another match where you'll see people like pop for the entrance, and then as soon as the bell rings, they're going to the bathroom.
It'll depend on it'll depend on what comes first. Does this come first?
Fair.
Match come first. We shall see.
I bet you'll see some people leaving for the bathroom for this match, though, depending on the placement of the card.
Another bathroom match. The tag team titles. Hurt Syndicate versus the Sons of Texas. Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara.
Someone was saying it in our Discord, I forget who it was, and I saw it again on Twitter. Like apparently, like Guevara was going to fight Cole, but Cole's hurt. I don't know if that ever got confirmed.
Cole's sitting on commentary right now on the show.
He's not getting physical.
Yeah, but okay. Spoiler for tonight's show. Do you mind?
Should go to Hunter. You should go to Hunter, man. Just go to Hunter.
Can I give you a spoiler for tonight's show?
Of course,
sure.
They're going to add Paragon.
Not a spoiler for
versus the Don Callis family. So,
meh.
So again, they're going to add that match. So Cole's fine to work. I think they wanted. Yeah, because it's going to be a trios match. It's going to be Cole, Kyle, and Roddy versus Konosuke, Kyle, and.
Oh, that's fire! That's fire! I'm
very excited. Yeah, I'm very excited.
Wait, hold on. This is important. Who's the third guy you said? Konosuke?
Josh Alexander.
Josh Alexander. Okay.
Yeah, that's fire. I want to watch. I definitely want to see that.
That could be one of those.
I wouldn't be shocked if that is a match that really shows off Josh Alexander.
I'm sure, because I mean,
I would not be.
Well,
if you do Cope and Christian at All In or All Out, you could easily do Alexander versus
Cole.
No,
you could do
Alexander
Omega.
versus not Omega.
Oh, versus Ospreay.
Versus Ospreay.
Oh.
You can easily do that match because you don't have to have a main event. It can just be a main event, especially if you start building him up. So
could be, but I would say we're probably going to get Kyle Fletcher versus Ospreay before we get Josh Alexander versus Ospreay. You don't think so? Okay, I could see Alexander versus Ospreay on television.
I feel like I feel like they're going to wait to go back to that after the cage.
No, I think they should, but I'm saying that it's going to happen eventually.
This should be a good match. Like the Hurt Syndicate tag match, I think is irrelevant, like stupid. Like it'll be over.
It'll be. I think it's going to be storyline heavy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because I think it'll be something to do with MJF. I still think eventually MJF is going to turn on them, and it's going to involve FTR and someone. I think that's the match at All In. I think
could be.
They'll do that, and then MJF turns on Hurt Syndicate, and then I think we get MJF versus Bobby, which could be fun. So
2 things I'm going to be curious about with this match is number 1, the Hurt Syndicate was starting to get some heel heat on Wednesday, so like is that going to translate to pay-per-view? And also, how Sammy Guevara going to do with the AEW audience? Because this is like the first time he's been in front of an AEW crowd in a long time.
He's gonna
it'll be fine. He's in there with Dustin.
But I'm just saying, like it's gonna be very telling about how they.
Which is why they got heel heat is because they're in there with Dustin and everyone's gonna.
Could be.
He's got to go away. Sammy's got to go.
He did go.
Sammy's not going. He just came back.
He's got to stay away, man. He's like,
Sammy's fine. Y'all hating Sammy. He did his time away.
I understand that he's not like a bad wrestler, and I'm not saying he's like the kind of guy that I always complain about in AEW, where they're solid in AEW context is actually bad. That's why Jack Perry was actually bad. But Sammy's better than that. I get that, but there's no way anyone actually cares to see Sammy Guevara.
I would rather see Sammy Guevara on TV right now than I would rather see what the hell is his name? The 5'2" player, the Pride of Wrestling. And yeah, I would much rather see. I would much rather see Sammy over Anthony Bowens.
I like Sammy. He's a pretty talented guy. And I want to see how he's matured, if at all, from his ROH
gone
time.
away for enough time.
He earned a chance to redeem himself. I'll give him that. But
what do you? But here's the problem:
the 5'2" player. Get the fuck out of here.
What stands out about Sammy? Like, there's guys that are better flyers than him. There's
so
many.
You don't need.
I like his athleticism. He's very, very talented in the ring. And also when he's a heel, he's got a slappable face when he's a heel.
All right, if he's like in this role that he's in right now with Dustin, but like even as a single, like I guess that's fine. What I don't want is, he's a day one guy. We have to give him some stuff to do.
He's never gonna be the main event. Calm down, okay?
You guys didn't miss him. No one was clamoring to get.
I didn't miss him, but what we're saying is like, okay, he's back on TV. Cool. He's in a random tag team in a fucking throwaway match on a pay per view. Okay, that'd be fine. It'll be a good match, and we can move on.
And the match will be over because everyone will, everyone will be.
It is annoying that like we spent all the time at the top talking about how like the top 3 to 4 matches have been really, really well prioritized, but it is annoying that they had like, this is not a 3-week build. They had like a month and a half to build this card, and like half of this card.
The problem is that like you're seeing it a lot with this card, I think, where it's like things are in a holding pattern until we start to build toward All In. The Hurt Syndicate right now is in a holding pattern because they're not feeding them the actually good tag teams, which would probably be FTR and Cole and Roddy. Those are the 2 teams I can think of off the top of my head. You're seeing it with Mark Briscoe and Ricochet. You're seeing a lot of people just in holding patterns right now. That's the problem. I
think they could have. I get it, but like Mark and Ricochet is a good example. We could have easily had like 1 to 2 promo segments in these last 6 weeks between those two. Like it just feels rushed. It feels like, oh fuck, we're 2 weeks out. Got to get Tony on the show. Got to get Hurt Syndicate on the show. Let's just create these matches for them. And like this Paragon, like we got to get Takeshita. That match is going to be really good, but it's the same thing. Takeshita, Fletcher, Adam Cole. We got to get all those guys in the show. Let's just throw this together. It's like, come on, man. You had 6 weeks.
But let's be honest. Like this has been a Tony issue from a while, where like he gets a wild hair and he's like, okay, this is a cool match. Let's put this on pay-per-view with no build.
Whatever. So that match will be okay.
It'll be okay.
Anarchy and Arena. Y'all know everybody's going to be in there. What y'all think?
I can't wait.
We'll see. I think it really depends on
Eddie Kingston's coming back.
If Eddie
it's either Kingston or Hook.
Someone Eddie does, but if it's Hook, people aren't going to be happy. It's got to be.
I know, but I can see
in their minds are already, I think, hyping it up that it's going to.
I know.
Hook might come back to help the other team. Like I think
right.
Someone pitched the idea of like the Action Bronson songs playing throughout the match, and I'm like, fuck, I could see Tony doing that.
No, I could see them playing Willow's
that would be awesome. Yes, I want that. I want that.
Anarchy Arena
match. That's what I want. I think that's also perfect.
It's not Ian. It's
Caprice. Better than Hook's. Hook song's not a.
It's not.
No. I love Action Bronson. Don't hate on the song.
I'm not saying that's not an Anarchy in the Arena.
Correct. Yeah. But playing Willow's theme to the backdrop of all the violence, I actually think would be a great visual, and I think that's what they should do. I don't think nothing else.
I agree with that. Unless there's a song, unless Eddie comes out,
unless they want to go and do,
and Eddie has a new theme song that Tony paid
or
for.
Unless they want to play America's Most Wanted as just like some type of like offshoot tribute or something like that. Like
if they do Willow's song, can we have someone like that the crowd does the clap? Can we just get someone like hitting each other with a trash can to like the beat of the song?
Sure.
That'd be amazing.
We'll get that.
Well,
that'd be amazing.
You have enough smart people in this match that they'll.
On the match itself, and I do think this is actually relevant. Like the last 2 years, it was 4-on-4, and this year we're kind of back to the format that the first year had, where you have just like a fuck ton of people in there.
It's a fuck ton of people. I imagine that Marina and Will are going to take themselves out early.
I think Will is going to do spots with the guys.
I think Willow will help the guys team.
Okay.
Like I think to help the guys. I think you'll see those type of. You'll get the WWE version of intergender match.
Okay. I want to see Willow pounce like Yuta or the Bucks. That'd be awesome.
She will give Yuta like a Dr. Bomb through a table. The crowd will go crazy, and then accidentally a Death Rider will come and like clothesline the shit out of her.
Right.
Like that like or something like that.
My theory was like at some point Willow does like a Death Valley driver off the stage and puts Marina through a
Or
table.
does she do something to Mox?
Yeah, that's awesome. Like,
but here's the thing.
Back, yeah.
I would be cool with that, but I think with like Yuta or the Bucks is like they're like these slimy douchebags, and you want to see them get their ass kicked by a girl.
Yeah, but like I think what the crowd wants, they would never say this out loud, but what the pro wrestling fan wants is they want to see Willow do like a big move on one of the Death Riders, and they kind of want to see Willow get hit in return inadvertently. They'll never say that out loud, but I think that's what they want.
Let the Bucks super kick her.
But you can do that. You can do that, and I think it'll be fine. You just have to do it in the context of
Sure.
that.
Like, is Gabe Kidd like? I guess we don't have the Gabe Kidd stuff confirmed, but like I think he would be like a great person also to like inadvertently, like accidentally or not, just like accidentally clothesline her and then like mouth off to the crowd. Like
I mean,
that, but fuck her. Like it is.
That'd be an amazing kayfabe way of getting away with it. We're like Tony's like, hey Tony, you had a wrestler hit a woman. It's like, oh, well, he's a New Japan wrestler. I had nothing to do with that.
That's the point, Markeem. That's the point of her getting hit.
You don't want to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to see it. So
I don't even see the chat.
So that's the point.
But I think this is going to be I think this is actually going to be better than the last 2 years, because I think last year was the worst one they've done. The year before was a significant step below the original. I think this will be the best one since the original.
I did love the last one though, because like the Jack Perry getting set on fire and like
set on fire is pretty insane.
I think
awesome. Insane.
I have faith that particularly Joe's going to go out there and just try to have like fun with it. Which I think which him just I don't think he'll do anything crazy, but I think he'll be himself. I think he'll be himself, like amped up to like Super Joe, to where he's just like prancing around, beating people up, doing that sort of thing, where he looks just like a complete.
Is he going to bring back the Nation of Violence?
But bad. Nah, fuck that. No.
But you really need to, for this match. I do think having more people is important. Like I thought 7 would have been too much, and I guess we might still get 7 anyways. But you need that because I rewatched the original recently, and what makes it special is that like the action is happening literally everywhere. And Darby getting set on fire, I guess, was cool and all, but Darby and Perry disappearing to the back, and now there's only like a 3-on-3 happening like within the arena. You don't feel the same ambiance of like, oh, there's chaos happening all around.
You're probably going to get that same thing with Willow and Marina Shafira, because they're going to be the only women. Like you can't sit there and just punch for 30 minutes or whatever. Like they're going to disappear as well.
And like they'll brawl the back and they'll probably come for the finish.
But do you think that they get everyone separated and then they do like what we have right here, where you've got like multiple. They've done it pretty well. Everybody, like you see everybody at once, and then they start zooming in, doing a real like sports presentation.
Because they've done in the past, and they've done a really good job with it. I feel like
at the very least, when you had 4-on-4 and one member of each team disappears, like last year, now it's 3-on-3. But if they were to do what Brandon's talking about with Will and Marina, now you have 5 people on each team. Yeah, like that's a meaningful difference.
So who takes the crazy bump? Like who's the big?
I think we'll get multiple people.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be one thing.
I think it'll be. If you look at the people who are in this match, it's gonna be multiple like crazy.
Probably, I could see.
Because the Bucks are gonna want to do something crazy. Yeah, Mox is gonna want to do something.
I forgot Mox. So I could see Yuta taking the big bump of the match though, because he's the guy.
I would have Willow win this match. I don't know if people agree with me on that.
I would too.
When else are you going to pay off Willow's involvement in the storyline?
That's
right. Than her winning this match?
I agree, and that would actually add fuel to the fire of like you save the Death Riders getting beat by the men until blood and guts. So actually, that's
would you have her pin Mox?
No. She pins Marina.
No, I mean I would not be opposed to having her pin someone that's not Marina, like Yuta or Nick Jackson or something like that. I really would. Pinning Mox. Probably can't do it just because of All In. Like if like Mox is in the main event of All In, I get that, but like I'd be totally fine with having her pin Yuta or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I think Willow and the faces should go over here personally.
I think so too.
And I forgot. Swerve's gonna want to do some crazy ass shit too.
Oh yeah, definitely. But
it'll be
him and Mox will do something crazy. Probably.
This is Swerve's first one. He hasn't been in it yet.
Main event: Ospreay versus Hangman. What you got?
Psyched.
That promo was great.
5 stars or bust.
Yeah, I mean, it'll definitely be up there. But that promo was great. They really, got me super, super hyped for this match.
They made me.
Do they? Are you scared that they overbooked the match to lead to Hangman, or do you think they just let this play out?
Yeah.
And then
And
then whatever they're going to do with Hangman, they do.
No, the emotional stuff with Hangman is going to come later. I see, like, I think we were talking about like Swerve and Hangman versus the Bucks and All In, and like then you have the moment of like Hangman running out to stop someone from interfering in the main event and like helping Ospreay is my prediction.
But you don't want, like, to Josh's point, like what none of us want is like the Bucks cost Hangman.
No, God, no.
Like,
keep everyone away from this match. And again, now it's on commentary. Like, it's like, hey, there is no interference, and if anyone involves, they're immediately fired or whatever. You do that shit to keep this a one-on-one match. This
is gonna rule. I mean, this is the easiest main event for them to book.
I mean, the only way you could is if the Bucks come out. But I mean, they should be dead by then.
Yes.
Anyways, which is the other part of it.
Yes. I think it needs to be about these two guys in the ring, and the ending of the night is Moxley coming out facing down Ospreay, and you get the fucking banner of All In the background. Like, that's what you need to happen. There can be no interference.
If this is not the main event, will it?
It is.
It is the
main event. This is the main event.
They did a whole angle on television where like Ospreay said this is the main event.
Okay.
And
they did a fantastic job with these promos because they have made me actually being like conflicted, like, shit, I don't know who I want to win because both these guys have great stories going forward to face Moxley for the belt.
Think Ospreay, we've talked about this in the Discord before. Like, I think we do him an injustice when we merely say yes, like when we say he's a fantastic wrestler and he can also talk. He's also a really good talker. No.
I think part of that was this was not the Ospreay that was in New Japan.
No, not at all.
Like he said, okay, I know I'm on US television now. I've got to, like, my promos can't be whatever they were in New Japan because they are definitely
he has improved so much on the mic over the past year. Because again, he's always been pretty good, but like this last year, with like when they started like the whole momentum of him becoming the guy, he has improved so much on the microphone. He's incredible. He's
up there with MJF,
yes.
Kingston, Hangman, and then it's probably
he's one of the best talkers in wrestling. Period. It doesn't matter what company.
I feel like
you believe him. You believe him when he's
exactly. I mean, like it's a stupid promo, but like the promo he had about like doing the fucking dive off the cage and talking to his wife afterwards was one of the funniest promos of the year. And it was like you were so hooked on everything he was saying because you believe that he was legitimately telling a story.
And I think it's because he's not a fantastic promo, but because you believe him, it makes him a better promo.
Exactly.
And he is incredibly charismatic. Like, so that
like there's different ways. This is why the way WWE does their promos sucks, because there's different ways to do promos. There's different ways for people to talk. There's different ways for people to convey things. Ospreay always comes off very like not natural when he's talking. But it's like he's overly like amped sometimes, and it kind of comes through that way.
He doesn't say anything that he himself as a person,
but it comes off very real. Yeah, it comes off like super real. So
it's the classic Terry Funk analogy where it's like, hey, they might think this is fake, but if I can make them think that I'm real, they'll believe everything I do. And that's with Ospreay. You believe everything he says.
Well, and I do like, I think it was maybe Ibu, I think, said this on Twitter, and I do agree with him that like Ospreay does a good job. And for better or worse, Dominic Mysterio does this too, where when you see Ospreay like in interviews outside of AEW TV, he like comes across like very Ospreay, like very like exuberant, talking a lot, very in your face. And Dom like tries to act like the same asshole he is on television in the interviews, in the media. And that's valuable in today's day and age where like wrestlers are so overexposed.
God bless Dominic for keeping kayfabe. He's great at that. I will give him props for that one.
There's value in like keeping the image that this is who we actually are.
MJF is the best at it though.
At times.
Because I've never seen him turn off.
Yeah, but sometimes he goes too hard. Sometimes it's a little
fair. Okay, that's a fair analogy for sure.
But he becomes a parody of himself sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, that's
There's
That's a fair
levels.
criticism.
Like Osprey and Dom, I think walk a better line.
So since you're going to be there,
yes,
are you going to go see the Dean show?
I'm happy you said that because I was hoping we get a chance to talk about it. Yes, we are going to Dean. The Dean Rasmusen tribute show is Saturday from 7 to 9 on Ring of Honor's YouTube channel. Please do not watch Saturday Night's Main Event. Like, if you're gonna watch, for the love of God, like watch this show instead. It actually does sound like a lot of fun.
Can someone send me a link and I'll make sure to watch it? Because like I don't know if I have their page or whatever. Like I will watch this.
No, it's on Ring of Honor's page.
Ring of Honor. Okay.
Yeah.
The main event is a Cybernetico match, which it's actually not my first Cybernetico. I actually have seen one in Chikara before live.
Oh shit!
God, I miss Cyberneticos.
You're gonna warm the heart of LV.
I have a question about that. This is my thing with the Cybernetico match.
Okay.
We always hear that you have these matches that there's too many rules, there's too many things going on in the match, too many things for the fans to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, these matches have been around for decades. Decades.
Yeah.
Right? And they are I would think to some wrestling fans very like hard to follow because you have to realize that there's a lineup that people tag in a certain order that then it's elimination on top of that. And I always feel like when people say, "Oh, there's too much stuff going on, there's too many rules to follow," I can only think of one match that I've ever thought of that I thought that was like that, and that was the King of the Mountain match. Because there was way too much stuff. Like you didn't need the penalty box. Like that was probably a step too further. But everything else was fine. So I always really wonder about people that they feel like this sort of thing is going to be like too much. It's going to be awesome. There's enough. That match is going to be. But get ready. This match is going to be long. Also, get ready. Yes, it's going to be long. If you've never seen one of these, a long ass.
I've always struggled with the lineup thing. That always confused me. It's like that's the part I get, but like it's pretty easy to follow. It's last man standing. It's sort of like the Survivor Series matches. Only it's literally one person left.
Right. Well, to Josh's point, there's like you can logically explain the rules to someone. But there's some things in wrestling that you pick up just like through the visual experience. And King of the Mountain's a great example of this because like the first few that I watched when I was younger, I like remember like I get it when I'm watching it, but like when my brother asked me to explain it, I cannot explain it.
Having seen one live, it is pretty easy to follow there. But yeah, like explain the rules. You sound like a fucking crazy person.
And basically, so for those that don't know, like in these Cybernetico matches, like you get two teams. Like whether it's 5 or 6 or 7, I think the original, I guess, is 6, but nonetheless, 2 teams each. You have to come in and out of the match when you tag in a certain order. You can't just indiscriminately tag anyone on your team. There's like a sequence of when the wrestlers come into the ring. Then you like if you want to tag out, you have to tag out the next person that's in line. You can't just pick whoever person you want to bring in. These two, it's elimination style. And then when one team has quote unquote won the match, the members of that team then face off in a singles, 3-way, or 4-way match. So ultimately, every Cybernetico match only has one winner. And
and like with the last standing team, whatever, if it's 3 people, it's like it's elimination rules. It has to come down to one person. There is one sole survivor.
The whole point is that every single person in the match gets beat, except for the person who wins the match. And it's gonna go long. It's gonna at minimum. I mean, this show's only 2 hours. Now, some of the undercard matches, like Rhino has a match on this show that'll probably go less than 3 minutes.
You're right.
I have not seen a Cybernetico match not go at least 30 minutes.
Oh, I expect it to go 45. I expect this to get a whole hour
just because of the rules.
Right. Because I think I think Jakara's like shortest one was like 28 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, the one I went to was like 60. But yeah, like they by definition they have to go long.
Yeah.
It's like a good Survivor Series match.
It's fantastic.
A good Survivor Series match will go long because the pinfalls matter. So
and you have hologram in here. You have Blue Panther. You have Volador Jr.'s in there. Averno's in there. Like you have so many guys. They're just going to do crazy stuff throughout the entire match. It's going to be an absolute spectacle.
It's going to be a great match, and I've been watching like them announce the guys for this Cybernetico, and I'm excited for it.
And like if you want to see Tom Lawler and Josh Woods, fine.
No, that match.
Josh Woods is my boy. I like Josh Woods.
Lawler's out.
What the fuck?
I didn't know that.
It's still on their promoted card, though. I checked it earlier today.
Nah,
Well,
nah,
there's-
It's
coming
Woods. It's now Woods and who is it? It's Woods and I can't remember who.
I didn't see the
somebody's-
replacement one. I just know that. Yeah, I just know that Lawler's gonna be in it.
It's Woods and I can't.
Oh,
think of the other-
JD Drake.
Yeah, JD.
Oh,
I knew it
okay,
was
that'll be
some-
fun.
I mean, it'll be fine. It's
And-
not
Yeah,
as
I don't-
good. It's not.
No,
as good,
but
but
I'll be honest. I don't really like Tom Lawler that much as a wrestler. He's
eh,
cool personality and everything like that, but like as a wrestler, he's three-star best.
If you want to see Beast Mortos and Slim J have an
Yeah.
awesome beatdown over 7 minutes, I do.
Isn't it? Didn't I see some of the like? Is this like free attendance too? Whatever. For
Yes.
like,
yeah, it's free.
Yeah,
it's
that's
in the
awesome.
parking lot. It's in the
Yeah.
parking lot.
Yeah,
oh, that's
it's in-
cool. Oh, that's so cool.
And you don't even reserve a spot. Like there, I truly like my friend and I looked this up. It kind of does seem like one of those old school CZW shows where everyone's like standing around the ring.
Dude, I'm stoked for this now. I just love do more wrestling shows at weird events, like like the DDT did that like match on a train or whatever. Like I love this shit. That's not
And
the
if
fun
you-
of wrestling. It's just the random shit you can do.
If you get there an hour early at 6 p.m. and you go to Dave & Buster's, you can meet Josh Woods. Now, I don't know if there's more than like 30 people. That might be high.
I'd be in line for that, man.
less.
I love Josh Wood. He's awesome.
my friend texted me, why don't we just go to give Josh Wood some company? Like, make sure there's literally someone there.
just greet him and like, hey, I'm your one fan.
But
And
I do like that they're doing this show for free,
yeah,
and then
Yeah,
the
that's
next shows will definitely not be for free.
at the ECW.
But it's definitely will set up like what these will be. So I think
Isn't Mad Dog Conley versus Adam
Damon-
Priest or whatever?
yeah.
Dog collar match.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be a good.
And
Okay.
2
This is
hours
gonna be this is gonna be the show that we all complained about was not on
on
WrestleMania,
WrestleMania
weekend.
weekend.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Cool. I will
And, like-
definitely be watching this then.
And when
I
it's
did not
2
know
hours,
about this.
when it's 2 hours and the main event's going like minimum 30, like
Right.
I guess maybe sooner if they want to get crazy,
Yeah.
but hopefully not. Like these matches are going to be like short but sweet, and it's going to be great. And it's going to be match.
It's a good way of like introducing enough of your guys to get people interested, and then giving them an awesome main event.
And I should be clear, it's 7 p.m. Arizona time. My bad.
Right.
So I think
Oh.
on the East Coast it'd be whatever that is, 9,
What, 10 a.m.,
or
10 p.m.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. I can watch them when my wife falls asleep.
but it should be a great show. I think it's setting. But they're doing one this weekend. They're doing one all in.
Yeah.
Weekend too.
Yeah. Oh no! They don't want the ECW week.
Yeah, it's
whatever
oh,
the
okay.
it's
residency,
ECW when they have the ECW residencies. That's when it is.
So
The next
is Dean going to be working with AEW going forward now?
It looks like it. It looks
Awesome.
Like,
I'm very
it
happy
looks
about
like-
that. Good.
yes.
I mean, because let's be honest, like
if
with
you've
like
seen the first one, the one from last year's WrestleMania, it was a long show, but it was really 2 shows in one, which is why it was so kind of a long show. You had like the regular action stuff that was like the first part of the show, and then you had like the super indie part, which is the second half of the show.
Okay.
But it was without a doubt probably the best show of last year. So, and this show looks. This is much better than I thought it was going to be. Really, the Cybernetico, and then like just some stuff underneath, and it's not just some stuff underneath. It's
I'm glad to see AEW working with smaller indies to keep like kind of like piggyback off each other, because especially with the way WWE's being kind of aggressive about like working with other indies, you got to make those connections right now. And like Dean's a great promotion, and like with CMLL they're working with, so like I'm glad they're keeping these things going. It's very important, I think.
And 10 to 12 p.m. East time is
Awesome
for the show.
Oh, so we could so we could watch Saturday Night's main event if we want to.
Oh,
Mm.
don't ruin your taste.
there's nothing on that show, and here I thought they were going to load that show up. Like I thought they were going to load that show up, and that show's got
It's
Dude,
it's very possible Damian Priest doesn't even have the best priest match of that night. Like,
Yeah.
Now,
Facts.
do we want to? There is also the other WWE show that's going on that's counter programming to Double or Nothing.
No. I don't wanna talk
Battleground.
about it. No.
Okay, fine. There is not a fucking match on that show that I want to watch at all.
I'm excited. It should be a fun weekend, and I think doing something like this, to Josh's point, is a hell of a lot better than going to that god awful Collision show I went to last year, the day before Double or Nothing, that no one watched, and it was completely
I don't even
inconsequential.
remember. What was like?
Just know this: Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, and Satnam Singh were in the main event.
Was that the Dennis Rod? No, that was
No.
That's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That was All Out.
But yes, I would much rather go to something like this than go to a random Collision that no one cares about.
I'm glad they moved Collision to Thursday. That way they free up other stuff stuff like this is more exciting, I think, and something that I think wrestling fans actually want, like a free wrestling show. That's fucking awesome.
And the meet and greet's free too. I will go hang out with Lee Moriarty. I mean, what the hell?
I like Lee Moriarty too. He's cool.
Him and Josh Woods.
Get a picture with the pure title, man. That ugly ass belt. I hate the new ROH belts. They're terrible.
Anyway, everything else we need to talk about?
I think we did it. Chase would be very upset with us with this time limit, but that's all
right.
good.
That's what he gets for not being here.
Hope he feels better.
He can't. Yeah.
But yeah.
The passion is enhanced. Don't worry.
Is Chase like a time limit guy?
Yeah, oh yeah. Like we get to an hour and he starts getting a little antsy. He becomes Brian Alvarez at an hour.
I swear I've seen episodes of these go like fucking 2 hours, so I don't know what he's talking about.
Well,
he's probably not on those episodes.
I think the longest. No, I think he's probably been on one that we did too. Like
like a WrestleMania weekend. Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, WrestleMania. You can't talk about one WrestleMania in an hour.
Observer Awards too. Whenever you guys do the Observer Awards, those shows go long.
I mean, again, that's a lot of stuff to talk about, though.
So, yeah, but yes,
yeah, we'll be back next week. Talk about the pay-per-view, see how things went, and go from there.
Have a good one.
Later, y'all.
Hit the button.